Hello Science 30s. I wanted to make a quick video here on pH indicators to finish off 1.2 in the textbook. So with indicators, what we're trying to do is we're going to be adding the indicators to a solution with an unknown pH. And from the color change that happens, we will be able to tell what the pH is. Sometimes we'll be able to tell a range of the pH, and other times we'll be able to tell the exact pH. And so here is the pH range. This table is from page 12 in your data booklet. So here's your pH change right there, and here is the color change that happens. We don't really pay attention to this one very much, to this column very much at all. And then this is the name of the indicator. And so we have those things that we're going to be looking at and exploring today. So for example, the first one we're going to look at is going to be methyl red. So first of all, I go on here and I find methyl red right there, and I look over here at the pH range, and I look over here at the colors. So I'm going to write those down over here. So that's 4.8 to 6.0 is going to be red to yellow. So what this means, red to yellow, there we go. What this means is that anything less than 4.8, is going to be red. And anything greater than 6.0 is going to be yellow. And anything in the middle is going to be red and yellow together, which is orange. And so that's the way that works. So if we put down on here now the break off, here would be 4.8. Here would be 6.0, and that's how we're able to tell the pH based on the color change. And obviously in between would be the orange. So let's do an example. The example I have here is this one here. It's from your textbook. And so it says that bromothymol blue is going to turn blue, and phenolphthalein is going to turn colorless, and it says that phenol red is going to turn red. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to find bromothymol blue. So bromothymol blue is right here, and there is its range, and there is its color. Now we know it turns blue. Because we know that it turns blue, that means that it has to be greater than 7.6. Now, if we think about pH as maximum of 14, that means that it has to be in that range, a 7.6 to a 14. The next one says that phenolphthalein, which is right here, another very common indicator that we would use in class, is going to stay colorless. And so that means that it has to be less than 8.2. So it has to be less than 8.2. And so again, if we think about 0 being the lowest pH, then that would be a 0 to an 8.2. Well, already we have something fairly interesting here. We notice that it has to be higher than 7.6, but it has to be less than 8.2, which means it's got to be between those two. But let's finish it off by looking at phenol red. Sometimes you'll be able to use all three of these clues. Sometimes only two of them will work with you. It depends. And with phenol red, we notice that it turns red. And so what we notice with that is that we are going to be greater than 8.0. So that would be 8.0 to 14. Now, putting these all three of these together, we notice that it needs to be, again, higher than 7.6, less than 8.2, and greater than 8.0. So that this one doesn't really work with us anymore, because if it has to be higher than 7.6, this one tells it has to be higher than 8.0. This one tells it has to be less than 8.2, which means now we know that our pH range Our pH range is going to be 8.0 to 8.2. The other way that they could ask this question is they could say estimate the pH. So the estimation would just be what is going to be in the middle of those two numbers. So the estimate would be 8.1. So there's two different answers here depending on how the question is asked. So again, we have our range 8.0 to 8.2 and our estimate, which would be 8.1. You have a bunch of questions to practice this in your textbook, and I will assign those on Google Classroom. Good luck.